If you spend the better part of a decade attacking your fan base, pushing your audience away, telling the old audience that's been there for decades, you know what? We don't want you anymore. We don't need you anymore. We're after a new type of fan. And then you proceed to shovel out garbage content after garbage content, whether it's movies or streaming. You shouldn't be surprised when that old audience takes the hint and leaves and doesn't support it anymore, even when you do stumble into something that's halfway decent. And that is the story of Disney Star Wars. For years, they've been doing this. For years, they've been pushing the audience away in search of a new audience. And on the flip side, that new audience, you've basically trained them to only like a jangling key, only a soulless cameo in a terribly written show that, oh, look, it reminds me of this, it reminds me of that. That's all this new audience has been bred to do. So when you come out with something like Andor that actually is competently written, that's not just, hey, cameo, 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 although I personally don't find it all that compelling, and I'll get into the reasons why, then you shouldn't be surprised when that audience doesn't come out to support it either, because you've trained them to not care about something that's crafted the way that Andor is. And when it does come to the people that are watching, unfortunately for Disney and for Star Wars and for Lucasfilm, the answer is basically nobody. Star Wars Andor ratings in the gutter, worse than Boba Fett. An audience trending chart reveals Andor's at the bottom and way at the bottom. And this is over on Cosmic Book News. According to new analytics data, the ratings for the Star Wars series Andor on Disney Plus look to be in the gutter and are much worse than the Book of Boba Fett. While Disney never releases specific numbers, which should tell you everything, and Samba TV hasn't reported on them, Parrot Analytics released a chart of audience demand where Andor is at the very bottom. And Parrot Analytics, it's not just, hey, these are the ratings. Parrot Analytics tracks the people that are talking about this. That might be in a positive light, might be a negative light, but overall, it tracks the interactions surrounding something. In this case, it's Andor. And this is Brandon Katz over there at Parrot Analytics. The most disappointing trend I've come across recently is how audience demand for Andor is overwhelmingly lower than Mandalorian, Book of Boba Fett, and Obi-Wan, despite the fact that it's easily the best Star Wars series by far. And of course, that's his opinion. I actually tend to agree. I think that Andor is the most competently written show that Disney Star Wars has done, and I don't even know if it's close. Now, I do think there's a problem with Andor. I think the problem is that the main character of Cassian Andor is not compelling. He simply isn't. I don't know if it's Diego Luna's acting. I don't know if it's the fact that I don't give a fuck about this character in general, but I do think they're doing things well. I think there's some setup and there's some, hey, this is the world, this is what's going on in the Empire for the normal everyday person that I do think is very good. And I think it's well done. Unfortunately, nobody's fucking watching. Do you know the reason why? They are all the way at the bottom of this chart. Look at this. The purple line here, this is Mando Season 2. The red line, Mando Season 1. The green line is Obi-Wan. The yellow line is Book of Boba Fett. Now, all of them obviously jump up, after they're out and then trail off towards the end. Look at Andor. Andor is a flat line. Andor is a flat line. And that 0 times is basically the demand of an average show. All shows on TV or streaming or whatever, this is it. The demand for that. 0 times. It's basically just a little bit above average when you look at the grand scope of things. This is Disney Star Wars on Disney Plus Andor. And effectively, nobody is talking about it and nobody is watching it. But that's what Disney has done. They've taken a large portion of people who would have been interested in a more mature, dark-themed show such as Andor. You took those people and you threw them away. You tossed them in the gutter. You said, go fuck yourselves. And they took your advice. They left. They're not interested in Star Wars anymore. And then this new low IQ audience that you have cultivated, that you have trained with these shows, with Mandalorian, with Book of Boba Fett, with Obi-Wan, that you have trained to only be interested in something if you can get hyped by a cameo or jangling keys or, oh my gosh, I recognize that person. I recognize that spaceship. It's just hollow garbage storytelling that relies solely on this artificial pop of nostalgia that is getting less and less every time people see it. I said from the very beginning, the way that Andor was marketed, I said this could very well be the best thing that Disney Star Wars has ever done and no one will watch it. And people said, oh, well, one, it's not going to be any good. And two, if it is good, people watch. No, because Disney has made so many mistakes. Lucasfilm has made so many mistakes that now even if they do have something that is good, that is well written, that is well executed, their core audience now that they've changed, now they've driven away everybody else, Their core audience isn't interested in some sort of like intellectual show like that. Are you kidding me? And that is what we're seeing with Andor. Now, we are going to see the Nielsen ratings, the first official Nielsen ratings that include Andor. That'll probably come out in a couple days because those track about 4 weeks behind. I do expect it to be higher up than maybe some people will think because, again, that's one of the reasons that Andor released 3 episodes to start with. So when you're factoring in streaming minutes, because that's how the Nielsen ratings are calculated, I guarantee you it's going to be higher than people expect because they released, 45, hour and a half, nearly 2 hours worth of content right off the bat. But you can't get around the reality, which is no one's really talking about Andor. It's well reviewed, it's well received by the people that have been interested in it, but nobody is talking about this because really no one's watching it because Disney Star Wars drove away the very people that may have been interested in something like this in favor of people that are interested in something else entirely. They're just drive-by fans. It's flavor of the month. We need a cameo here. We need a stupid appearance here to keep people excited. Fuck storytelling. Fuck quality storytelling. Let's just get a cheap pop. That has left them with very few people who are actually interested in watching something like Andor. Let me know your thoughts about this in the comments section below. Smash a like button, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell for notifications, share this video out there, and I'll talk to you later. Thanks for watching, everyone, and a huge shout out to my patrons. I appreciate you guys so much. Want to follow me on Twitter or Instagram? Check out the description below. You'll find links to my P.O. box and my Patreon as well. And I'll talk to you guys later.